Greetings and salutations. Today I'm going to talk about the human journey. What does it mean when you give your last? What does it mean when you give your last 2 pennies? Or your last sandwich or your last whatever? What does it mean? What is that? How does that relate to everything else? I've talked about politics, I've talked about betrayal, I've talked about spirituality. I want to talk a little bit about what does it all mean? How do we bring this together? Okay, seriously. Something happened to me yesterday that makes it kind of important for me to do this now. Okay? Now, maybe you've heard this story and maybe you haven't. There was an old woman and she was poor, dirt poor. She had her dignity, but she had little else. She had 2 coins. She walked into a synagogue. Now, you're familiar with religious hypocrisy. They cater to the rich. If you're poor and you walk into a church or a synagogue, they wish you weren't even there. They cater to the wealthy. Yes, everybody's seen it. So she walks in, maintaining her dignity. She gives her last 2 coins. Now, when she left, we don't know what happened. Whether she starved to death, died, we don't know. But she had her dignity and she had 2 coins. She gave the 2 coins and kept her dignity. Well, that was the right choice. Now, there was a wise young man there. He's a construction worker. He made the observation, you know, people can look down on this old woman because she doesn't have a lot of money, but I tell you what, her gift is worth more in the eyes of God than all these other gifts combined. She gave everything she had. If a billionaire writes a check for $1 million, well, that billionaire gets honored, he gets on TV, people say, oh, what a generous soul he is. He's buying the fame, he's buying the brownie points. And then he gets a tax deduction for the $1 million he donated. If you're a billionaire, what is $1 million? It's nothing. His gift is really worth nothing at all, and yet he's honored for it. The old woman gives her last. She gives her 2 coins, her last 2 cents, and she's mocked for it. She's looked down upon. She has her dignity, but people see her as a woman of no value. Well, the wise young man certainly did not look at her that way, and he was the one that was correct. The rest of them can go take a flying leap. That woman who put her last coins in the plate, she did something of value. Now, I'll bet that every good person out there does something. I'll bet you are out there do something. I bet you do kind things for others, and I bet you don't realize just how much value that actually has. The kindness you give when nobody's looking, when you're not going to get any credit for it, when you got nothing to gain, that kindness that you do, that thing you do, whatever it is of infinite value. Good people understand that. They undervalue the gifts that they give, but in the eyes of God, those gifts are tremendously valuable. Now, as we know, the wise young construction worker who made the observation, his name is Jesus Christ. We know that. He hated organized religion a lot more than I do. He stood up against it and paid for that with his life. They started a fake religion in his name. They swindled, cheated, stole, molested kids in his name, and they still do it. You know, the word Christianity never occurred in Scripture, but they use it today to lie, cheat, and steal in the name of this honest man. If you're an honest person and you tell the truth, you pay a heavy price for it. If you pay the truth and you do so much as the smallest kindness for somebody else, you'll be punished for telling the truth, and you'll be mocked for the kindness that you do. If you give so much as $5 to charity, you'll be mocked and laughed at from people. You'll be put down. What you do will be put down, just like the old woman who put the 2 coins in. It was her last. She gave her last. She gave her last 2 cents. Well, I tell you what. When I do these videos, yes, I'm putting in my quote-unquote 2 cents worth. I'm putting in my opinion. I don't know if it's my last, but it's all I have to give. It's the best that I have to give, and that's what I give. People can mock me all they want. They can shaft me, they can betray me. I expect that now. I've come to expect that. You know, Tulsi Gabbard tells the truth. What happens? Massive betrayal, massive betrayal. Why should I be surprised that the same thing happens to me or to you or to anybody else? If you tell the truth and you do good things, you will be punished. You will be punished. It's the nature of our polluted world. But I tell you what, your tiny gift, whatever it is, big or small, whether it's kindness or you name it, it is worth far more than all of the great charities of the world combined. All of the great charities of the world combined, all the things they do so they can be seen doing it. They raise money and they take a cut for themselves. I tell you what, all of that is worth nothing in the eyes of God. All of it is worth nothing. What you do, that little kindness you did last week or last month, that is worth far more. The 2 coins the old woman donated while maintaining her dignity, the rest of the men there probably didn't know what dignity is. She did. They looked down on her. They mocked her. They'll mock you. But her gift was greater in the eyes of God than all the other gifts combined. God's opinion matters. His opinion is the only opinion that does matter. Your kindness matters. Whatever little tiny gift you do, whatever you give, that'll matter more than anything else. It'll matter more than what society could ever do, because you mean more than society. You do. And we all need to remember that. We all need to remember that. When you give your last, and you're giving it to help somebody else, my goodness, you can be sure your gift holds ultimate value. So when the mockers and the liars and the thieves piss on you and what you do, I'll tell you what, they've done it to everybody else. They did it to Jesus Christ and they murdered him for telling the truth. Hell, they can murder me if they want to, that's fine. But I'm going to keep telling the truth. I'm going to keep putting my 2 cents worth in, no matter what. My name is Scott McGurn, and thank you for your time.